रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं भगना परिजना सहितं
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat pranams to all. We welcome all of you for the morning program Nityam Bhagavatha Sevaya. And today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Smitha Keshava Prabhu, and he will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 2nd chapter, text 19, 20, and 21. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat pranam to all. Please accept my humble obeisances. Let's start with prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Atyuttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. We'd like to welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So today we're discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 2nd chapter, text 19 to 21. So firstly, I would like to thank for giving this opportunity to discuss about Srimad Bhagavatam, although I don't have any qualification. So I'd like to take the service for my own purification and the glorification of Lord. And I would like to seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, so that please bless me, so that I'm able to speak from Srimad Bhagavatam in Indian Parampara without any mistakes. And do please correct me if I do any mistakes. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity. So we'll go to verse Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto. Let me share first. You're able to see my screen, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 2, text number 19. So chapter entitled is Activities of Maharaj Agnidra. So we'll read 3 verses. There are 3 verses totally. We'll read the verses and then synonyms and translation and purport. So we'll read the 19th verse now. Tasyam uhava atmajan saraja vara agnidro nabikim purusha harivarselevruta ramyaka hiranmaya kuru bhadrashva ketumala samgnan navaputran ajanayat. So word meaning, Tasyam, in her, Uhava, certainly, Atmajan, sons, Saha, he, Rajavaraha, the best of kings, Agnidra, Nabi, Kimpurusha, Harivarsha, Ilavrata, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, Kuru, Bhadrashva, Ketumala, Samgnan, named, Nava, 9, Putran, sons, Ajanayat, begot. Translation and purport by Sivanga Sesi Bhaktan Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: in the womb of Purvachitti, Maharaj Agnidra, the best of kings, begot 9 sons, named Nabi, Kimpurusha, Harivarsha, Ilavrata, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, Kuru, Bhadrashva, and Ketumala. We'll see the next verse also. 5 to 20. So, Sa Sutvata Sutan Navanu Vatsaram Griha Eva Pahaya Purvachittir Bhuya Evajam Devam Upataste. So, what word meaning? She, Sutva, after giving birth to Atha, thereafter, Sutan, sons, Nava, 9, Anuvatsaram, year after year, Grihe, at home, Eva, certainly, Apahaya, leaving, Purvachitti, Bhuyaha, again, Eva, certainly, Ajam, Lord Brahma, Devam, the demigod, Upataste, approached. Translation purport by Divyanka Sesi Bhaktan Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Purvachitti gave birth to these 9 sons, one each year. But after they grew up, she left them at home and again approached Lord Brahma to worship him. Purport. There are many instances in which Apsaras, heavenly angels, have descended to this earth by the order of a superior demigod like Brahma, Lord Brahma or Lord Indra, have followed the demigod's order by marrying someone and giving birth to children and have then returned to their celestial homes. For example, after Menaka, the celestial woman who had come to delude Vishwamitra Muni, gave birth to the child Shakuntala. She left both the child and her husband and returned to the heavenly planets. Purvachitti did not remain permanently with Maharaj Agnidra. After cooperating in his household affairs, she left Maharaj Agnidra and all 9 sons and returned to Brahma to worship him. So this is the 20th. So we will complete this and then go to the next verse. So we'll do the prayers. Prayers. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamsha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Parishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Once again, welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 2nd chapter, entitled The Activities of Maharaj Agnidra, text 19 to 21. We just read 19 and 20th verse. So just this 19th verse tells about how you're seeing the 9 sons Maharaj Agnidra begot in the womb of Purvachitti, and all the names of 9 sons, all the names are mentioned here. And the next verse, 20th verse we just read now, where how Purvachitti gave birth to these 9 sons, one each year. But after they grew up, she left the home again and approached Lord Brahma to worship him. So these are the 2 verses we just read now. So there's one more verse we'll read after discussing these 2 verses. So as I thought, we'll just discuss a little bit about the context. So what we're discussing here is about, as explained Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshan Mutayaha Manvantareshanukata Nirodho Muktir Ashrayaha. So there are total 10 topics discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10 subject matter. The second subject matter is Visarga. First is Sarga, the second is Visarga. The Visarga talks about secondary creation by Lord Brahma. So these are all secondary creation of Lord Brahma. The first creation is done by the Lord, so which involves all the five gross material elements. So creations of Vishnu, sense perception, 10 senses, mind, intelligence. So all those things are the part of Sarga. Visarga is the secondary creation where Lord Brahma is producing the moving and non-moving bodies in the universe, in the Brahmanda. So they are discussing about this Visarga in this fifth canto. And we also know that how all the Bhagavatam 12 cantos are compared to Lord's different parts of the body. So Pado Yadayo Pratama Dvitiyo Tritiya Turyo Katiyo Yaduru Nabis Tata Panchama Eva Sasto. So Nabis Tata Panchama. Nabi is what navel compared to fifth canto. As we're discussing here, you can see the picture also, it's showing about the hellish planets. So in the fifth canto, the description of hellish planets comes at the end. So along with the whole universe description. So the hellish planet described, and it is compared to the Lord's navel. And as we are discussing that Brahma secondary creation, the Brahma's son is Swayambhu Manu, and Swayambhu Manu has 3 daughters and 2 sons. So 3 daughters are Devahuti, Akuti, and Trisuti, and he has 2 sons. And these are descriptions in 3rd canto, 4th canto. And the 2 sons, Uttanapad and Priyavrat. So Uttanapad dynasty we have discussed earlier in earlier classes, how Uttanapad dynasty is till Prachetas. So starts from Dhruva and then goes to Prithvi Maharaj and Prajin Barshit and then Prachetas. So 10 Prachetas had 1 son, Daksha, like who is the father of Sati, again take birth, and that Daksha goes for austerities. So before ruling, and then there was no one to rule. I don't know how Swami Manu approached the second son Priyavrat, who was actually following celibacy and following devotional services under the guidance of Narada Muni, and told him to rule. So now we are discussing in the 5th canto, 15 chapters about dynasty of Priyavrat Maharaj. So in the Priyavrat Maharaj dynasty, we are discussing now his first son, Maharaj Agnidra. There are other sons, description of his dynasty is explained here. So the first son is Maharaj Agnidra. So that we are discussing in the 5th canto, 2nd chapter. And the first chapter talks about Priyavrat Maharaj's activities. So how Priyavrat Maharaj ruled. The glories of all Priyavrat Maharaj was described. So we all know how Priyavrat Maharaj with his chariot has made this 7 islands and 7 oceans, and made his sons to rule those. And he's like how powerful Priyavrat Maharaj was, and all activities are mentioned. And Priyavrat Maharaj has the first son of Priyavrat Maharaj is Maharaj Agnidra. So that we are discussing in the 2nd chapter. So yeah, and also mentioned about there are other dynasties of Priyavrat Maharaj lineage, where it is explained about Nabi, Rishpadev, Bharat Maharaj, Jadabharat section is a huge section here. And then Priyavrat Maharaj dynasty explaining the Jambu Dvipa, and then the cross section of entire universe. And then the hellish planets is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto. So now Maharaj, I have taken this slide from Bhagavad Pravaha of Gaurav Darshan Prabhu. It was easy to understand. So I thought also we'll understand the whole content of this chapter. So here how the sections of this chapter is like very nicely explained. So first 2 verses explained about Agnidra's rule and austerities. How Maharaj Agnidra ruling the kingdom Jambu Dvipa given by his father. So he was ruling it, and how he performed austerities, for what purpose. And then he Agnidra sees Purochitti sent by Brahma, and then how Agnidra flatters Purochitti, and Agnidra family life and descendants explained in the 17-23 verses. So we are discussing today in this section, Agnidra's family life, descendants, and attainment of Pitraloka. So brief explanation, like how it was, like how Agnidra rules Jambudvipa according to religious principles, and Agnidra how he desired a son so that he wants to perform austerities, and he wants to go to Pitraloka. So he worshipped for that Brahma at Mandara hill. So here Prabhu is explaining a nice point. Priyavrat Maharaj is a pure devotee of Lord. How come the son of Priyavrat Maharaj, who is Maharaj Agnidra, had a desire that he is actually want to go to Pitraloka instead of going to spiritual world? So there Prabhu is explaining that how Maharaj Priyavrat, when he was actually he was actually, when he was uniting with his wife, the thoughts of the Priyat Maharaj was like kind of lusty thoughts. So it was lusty. So because of that, the son who took birth, actually he has the desire to go to Pitraloka. So Prabhu explaining how important is the conception and the Gravdan Samskar that we should learn. That parents come together for begetting children, their desires, their thoughts, so will help us, will actually make the children who take birth also impact. So he was telling how the Garbhadan Samskar is so important and the parents to practice. So here, although the son of pure devotee of Lord, he has a desire to go to Pitraloka, he is going to spiritual world. So that was Roji explaining. And how here again, Maharaj Agnidra was want to go to Pitraloka, and for that he want a son, so that he also ensure that he will enjoy there for a long time. And he is praying Brahma. So Brahma understood his desire. Brahma sent Purochitti. So when Purochitti came there, Agnidra was doing meditation, and he could see her, and he flattered her with his words of praise. There are so many descriptions about the verses. And then he finally attracts Purochitti and gets married to Purochitti. And Agnidra and Purochitti, where 18th verse tells that Agnidra and Purochitti for enjoyed for 1,000 years, and they begot 9 sons. So 9 sons' names we discussed in 19th verse. And after they grew up, Purochitti left. That is 28th verse we discussed now. And then 21st verse, we are going to discuss Agnidra gave sons different different parts of Jambudvipa has the different son names, and asked them to rule the kingdom. So then Agnidra's further explains about how Agnidra lust is unsatisfied, and he wants to attain the Pitraloka because he was remembering his wife, and he want to go back to the same place. So and then 9 sons married 9 daughters, and they further ruled. So that ends the fifth canto, this second chapter. So now, as we discussed, this 19th verse, we see it's explaining about all the names of the sons of Maharaj Agnidra and Purochitti. All the names like Nabi, Kimpurusha, Harivarsha, Ilavrata, Ramyaka, Hiranmaya, Kuru, Bhadrashvan, Ketumala. So these 9 sons' names only in the Jambudvipa section, it was named after them, and it was divided by Maharaj Agnidra and asked them to rule. So those are the 9 sons of Maharaj Agnidra. So and then going to the next verse, so explanation about how understanding of this. I was hearing lectures from devotees, senior devotees, like Harikshetra Prabhu. I heard one lecture, so it was nicely explaining. So he was sharing his relations on this. So one point here is explaining about how Purochitti, she gave birth. She spent 1,000 years of time with enjoying with Maharaj Agnidra, and then after that begot 9 sons, and she left back to the place. So he was explaining how Bhagavatam tells this nice feature that in Bhagavatam that he is explaining that no one stayed at home. He is explaining all will leave for spiritual realization at a certain point of time. So there are 3 things he explained, like how nicely. We're just contemplating on this, that how first thing is that in Bhagavatam explains many examples how people they get self-realized and they understand the importance of human form of life, and they understand it and they want to practice and they leave home. And second, he explains how people enjoy for a certain point of time, maybe some many years also, and then they understand that yes, this is not the right time, this is not the right thing to continue, because it's taking away us from the Supreme Lord, and also it's not the ultimate goal of life. Now this is the point of time I want to focus again, and they go back and leave the home and they practice. And other people, they just sit at home, so they don't want to leave, and also they don't want to practice also. So in that case, people like devotees, they're very merciful. They come and he says they'll kick, and we have to leave the home, and then we have to practice. So like the 3 things I was explaining nicely. I just thought that to understand this point, that how Bhagavatam explains this important feature, that living away home means practicing more intensely. So intense about devotional service. So that how Bhagavatam explains that the sense gratification of all these things are explained in summarized in only 1 or 2 slokas, but the prayers was explained that how the prayers to Lord, how the glorification of Lord was explained in depth. So that was not given that important. So this whole happiness of Maharaj Agnidra and Purochitti was explained in 1 or 2 slokas, and they closed. So and for and the description of the prayers, you see there are so many chapters explained. So that's one point. And then coming to these 3 points which I explained. So one point I was taking an example, like how self-realization, like we have seen examples of Bharat Maharaj. So Bharat Maharaj, son of Rishabhadev, was ruling so nicely. So he was having a great kingdom and was ruling all over the Bharatavarsha. But at point of time he left. He was practicing devotional service in the forest so intensely. So you can see how it was mentioned that he just left everything like a stool. So that we just leave the stool, we don't even see it. Like Bharat Maharaj left everything and he could go and practice. So the further we know how Bharat Maharaj has some more chapters explained, but there are souls who leave themselves. So now Indradhan Maharaj will like Gajendra in the next life, like how he was also like kind of same. So he was a great personality, ruling kingdom, and you know how he was also left everything and practicing himself in the forest, worshipping the Lord deities so intensely that you could not even see great rishis coming to his ashram. He was completely worshipping the Lord. So that was explained. So and then second thing, like enjoying and then leaving, like we know the great pastime of King Ayati in Srimad Bhagavatam, how King Ayati he was like we know how he get married to Devayani, son of daughter of Sukracharya, and then how even Sarmishta also comes along with Devayani, and where King Ayati when he was actually understanding, I mean when he was actually being intimate with who's Devayani, so Sarmishta. So Ayati married to Devayani, and Devayani brought Sarmishta as a servant. So now what happens? King Ayati was so much close to Sarmishta, which Devayani didn't like. So she informed Father Sukracharya, and he cursed that you will lose all your youth. So then how Ayati was eagerly wants his youth back to enjoy again. So he prayed and he intensely repented and asked him that I want my youth back. Then he gave a condition saying that you can ask any of your son, they will give to you. You can have it and you can enjoy your youth. So then you know how we all know how he requested his sons. So King Ayati requested all his sons. So he requested Yadu. So we know how Yadu could not do because you know how Krishna will appear in Yadu dynasty. And then finally his last son Puru, all the sons he asked, no one agreed. We don't want to give the youth because they also want to enjoy. But King Puru, he agreed, and Ayati was very happy with him. So Ayati took it and he enjoyed it for some more years. So and then how King Ayati enjoyed for a certain point of time, and then he understood that this is not the ultimate. So and then he realized and he explained this to Devayani in a short story of the goats, he goat and she goat. So explained there his own story and understood the importance of, and then he further continues the devotional service. That is the ultimate thing. So that is the second thing. And then finally not living, so we have to beat up and then asked to live. That is like third point where Dhritarashtra was attached to his kingdom. So we all know how Dhritarashtra did so many things for the Pandavas to not to get their kingdom, and even he encouraged Duryodhana to do it because he was so much attached to his son and kingdom. So Dhritarashtra. So I think that's the meaning of Rashtra. What I understand is attached to the Rashtra where he born. So he was so much attached that he didn't want to leave. Although all the Kauravas got killed, still he was sitting in the kingdom and he was eating the food of all the Pandavas. So then we all know how Vidura came, and Vidura helped Dhritarashtra, understanding that. So there are harsh words spoken to Vidura to understand and make him Dhritarashtra come out of that comfort zone. And Dhritarashtra came out to forest along with his wife Gandhari and practiced intensely by the mercy of Vidura, and he could able to attain the perfection. That was explanation of Bhagavatam. So like that, these are the three things. Like basically explained about the important nice feature. How Purachiti left here, although she is mother of the 9 sons she gave birth. So she could again went back. So to the place where Brahma is there to worship Brahma. So like that. So very important thing to contemplate is that yes, at some point of time, all this enjoyment will get closed. So doesn't mean that we have to immediately react, but we have to gradually do it under the guidance. So what is explained here is that self-realization is important, but how to how to do it, there are multiple examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm sure under the guidance, we should actually carefully do it under the guidance and practice it. So there is one nice summary about Srimad Bhagavatam 9th canto. It's explained how if one is lusty and greedy, even the total stock of gold in this world cannot satisfy one's lusty desires. These desires are like fire. So one may pour clarified butter on a blazing fire, but one cannot expect the fire to be extinguished. So to extinguish such a fire, one must adopt a different process. The Shastra therefore advises that intelligent one renounce the life of enjoyment. So it's explained there that how if you have the clarified butter and you keep on pouring on the blazing fire, so we cannot expect the fire to be extinguished. So keep on satisfying the lust. So it will not help us to come out of it. That's not the process. It should not extinguish. So we should adopt the different process. So that's explained here, like how we should practice the renunciation. Then that will help us to do it. So with this context, I was just recollecting this verse, how very important that we have the senses and with which we are trying to do sense gratification. So with the same senses, we engage in Lord's service. That is the real love to Lord. So with that, we'll slowly purify and also we'll perfect ourselves. So this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita is very famous, which explains Atmendriya priti vancha thare balikam Krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema nam. The desire to gratify one's senses is kama, but the desire to please the senses of Lord is prema. So this is the verse which tells that Atmendriya priti vancha thare balikam. So priti vancha. So using our own senses for our own sense gratification is kama. But Krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema nam. So that is satisfying Krishna's senses. Since Lord Krishna is the prema. So that's the main thing which we have to do. Yeah. And then with this context of explanation about the detachment, how Purusharthi has shown, I just was contemplating on one point, how even in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, very important about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks about renunciation. So I don't have that much relation, but what I heard, I just want to share. So it's like sense gratification and the divorce service cannot go together. So it's like sense gratification always takes us away from the Lord. So, so in the Bhagavatam, especially as discussed earlier also, this is very less context mentioned about the sense gratification, and there is more detail about the prayers, meeting of Lord in devotees. Prayers in detail was explained. So especially coming to this part of sense gratification. So there are furthermore things which we can discuss is that we can give up the sense gratification for the higher purpose. So that was one point. So how here also Purusharthi gave up the sons and gave up Agnidra. For 1,000 years she was there with them in family affairs, but immediately she left because of higher caste. Similarly, it is also possible because of higher caste. So Purusharthi, it doesn't mean that she broke up here. I mean, they break up in the sense the institution of marriage generally it cannot be broken, but nowadays it's happening, which cannot be broken as per scriptures. There's nothing called divorce. So here it is broken because from higher caste. There is some reasons which valid reasons where it can be broken up. Here is kind of for higher caste we can do it. So higher caste means the ultimate goal of life is to go back to spiritual world. For higher caste we can do it under the guidance. So where it was to be performed. So here same thing we can also understand how even we can see in our life also, like children, we like so many things. Like earlier we like toys, so we give the toys to see other toy or some other. Slowly we keep on changing our interests in many things and we give up the other things. Like example of bike, we like we have bikes, then we like cars and we go to car. So like that we keep changing our thoughts. So we give up the other things and go for other things. So, and also one nice example we generally hear is we also give up some things, like how we singers, they want to participate in many competitions, they win prizes. So although they like ice cream, they will not eat the ice cream because they'll control from it, they'll restrain from it, because if they eat ice cream, they cannot able to sing properly, right? And they'll not able to win in the competition. They'll restrain from it, the senses, so that they'll be able to get it. So that is called kind of renunciation or detachment from the ice cream for some time at least. So like that, one example is like boxers. So there's one famous boxer, it tells that for some period of time he will not involve in sex, because if he involve, he will not lose, he will lose energy, and he will not able to fight with the the competent. So like that, there are many people for material things, they're restraining the senses, and they want to get medals, they want to get prizes, they're doing it there. So understanding this, what's there for that terms, that is higher caste. Similarly, devotees also, we know the certain things are principles, like anukul yasya, which is favorable for performing Krishna consciousness, we take up, which is not favorable, we'll reject. So even in our days, like earlier days, I was just when coming to Krishna consciousness, where we have so many things which are addicted to, like kind of tea, coffee, seeing movies, roaming with friends. So like that, many things were there. Like personally, when I came into touch with Krishna consciousness, so slowly, one by one, like things are easily can be overcome. So like in devotees association, devotees actually help us to come out of these things, with very nice sweet words. So initially, even like kind of wearing dhoti kurta also was becoming very difficult. So we are using pants and shirts. So in the place where we are staying, so then they told it will be good if we can wear dhoti kurta for morning program. So like that, and then taking bath after going for nature calls. So even they tell the smoothly, you should do it, you should be good, you should do it. So like that, all those things were easily cultivated. It was very difficult because taking bath again and again, so it will be difficult, but they told it will help you to keep in mode of goodness. So and when we do it, it was helping. So like that, and applying tilak all over the places, 12 places initially, it will be difficult, but we do it and we understand the importance of it. Like small things, although we understand it will be a bit difficult, but when you try to do it, then we'll feel it. Yes, we'll feel that bliss in devotional practice. So then slowly wearing fresh clothes, attending everyday Mangalarti, Tulsi Arti, Narasimharti, and then all these things will help. So we're giving up the small things like sleeping. Sleeping also one thing. We sleep for a long time, but even that sleep, if you regulate it properly, then everything will be set in practice. So that was helpful with devotees association. So like that, if you give up small things, because in hostels, when you stay, we used to sleep for a long time. We sleep at 2 o'clock, get up at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock just before the class and run away. So, but we have an option where we can sleep early and get up early. So we think that will help, but actually that is kind of things which we practice, which is not good one. But when we understand these things, when we give up those all things, we can relish the devotional life. That's what giving something means. Austerities practicing means voluntarily giving up the austerities, voluntarily actually practicing the austerities for some higher cause. So that's one thing we should do. That one point we can learn from this. So giving up the things which are small for the higher cause, so that we'll experience something higher. So that's one thing we can understand. And there is a nice verse of Srimad Bhagavatam which I want to discuss about this. So all this discussing about detachment, this verse nicely explains how these things can be we can actually experience very nicely, best by reading this verse. So there's verse, Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me open this verse, 11 to 42. Yeah, we'll explain this verse. So, Bhakti Pareshana Bhava Virakti Anyatra Chesa Trika Ekakalaha Prapadyamanasya Yatasnatasyus Tusti Pusti Shud Apayo Anugasam. So, this verse is very nice. It explains that translation goes: devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and the detachment from other things. These three occur simultaneously for one who has taken the shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same way that pleasure, nourishment, and relief from the hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. So this verse is very nice explaining that how bhakti pareshanu bhava. So bhakti means devotion. Pareshanu bhava, paresha anubhava. Anubhava means experience. So direct experience of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Para Isha, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Virakti means detachment. So all these three things, three eka kala, will come simultaneously. How prapadyamanasya, one in the process of taking shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So And so nice analogy was given, like how taking shelter of supreme personality of Godhead, all these three things simultaneously will come, like bhakti, direct experience of the Lord, and detachment. No need to endure it. So it will come automatically when you're taking shelter of supreme personality of Godhead. How similarly eating the food, prasadam. So how it happens? Like tusti pusti shud apayonu gasam. So it explained how tusti means satisfaction, pusti means nourishment, shud upaya, eradication of hunger. So by increasing with each morsel, when we are hungry, we take a plate of food, eat morsel by morsel. All these three things, tusti, pusti, we'll get the satisfaction, we'll get the nourishment, and also eradication of hunger. Three things will happen. So like that, the devotion, the direct experience of the Lord, anubhava, perception of the Lord, virakti, detachment will automatically come when we are taking the process of shelter of supreme personality of Godhead. This purport, Prabhupada nicely explained that how that we not reach to the perfection, even just by practicing, we'll experience it. So most of us, we might have experienced it. And even Rupa Goswami quotes a verse here. This is very nice. According to Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, the path of Bhakti Yoga is so joyful and practical that even in the stage of sadhana bhakti, in which one follows rules and regulations, without an advanced understanding, one can perceive the ultimate result. As shared by Srila Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Samrat Sindhu, the verse is mentioned here. So even in the sadhana bhakti, we experience it, right? The devotional, that whatever is explained in this verse. So we get little bit, as I mentioned earlier. We even don't even remember the names of movies what we have seen earlier, which we have seen every day in long back. So we don't even remember some characters. So it's like at certain point of time when you are practicing bhakti, we feel so sublime, so blissful that whatever we are practicing, that gives maybe not all the time. It's a Ganatarala, as I explained in Madhurya Kadambini. So it's like it will be there for some time, but that gives a motivation to follow further in bhakti, to practice. So, but that experience will be there. It's explained by Rupa Goswami. Definitely, it will be there. So that one point I want to make. Understand this importance. So just by taking shelter of supreme personality of Godhead, definitely it will happen. So, and detachment means not that we give up everything. Yukta vairagyam uchyate, as Prabhupada explained in Bhakti, from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that how we will engage everything in the Lord's service. So inaction means not that we will not do anything. Inaction means inaction towards material, towards action towards spiritual. So attaching things to spiritual, detachment from material. So example, Prabhupada tells about the microphone. So he tells the microphone example, that how microphone is material, but it's engaged in Prabhupada speaking it, and many are hearing about it. And also Prabhupada records it, and we translated from there. Like that, engaging the things in the Lord service. And also initially when smartphones are there, whenever I'm telling you 4-5 years back, when you take a smartphone, devotees ask, hey, do you have a smartphone? We should not do smartphones. But now all the devotees, most of them having smartphones, and also they're engaging in excellent service of Lord. So not during the chanting that we take the phone and we do chanting, but I have seen devotees, they read through when you get time, and they have nice pictures of Lord. So they're contemplating a lot. Even during my days when I was traveling to office, I used to read the translations and lectures of Prabhupada, translations, given notes. So it was very helpful. So to keep us. So engaging in Lord's service is important. So it's not that we detach, saying that I don't want anything. So like that. So that's famous verse, like Anasakta Vishyan, Yatartham Upayunjataha, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. And one more verse on Bhagavatam explains, Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha, Janati Asu Vairagyam, Gnanam Ched Ahetukam. So by rendering devotional service unto Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. So by rendering service, as I mentioned earlier, immediately we acquire Asu, means immediately. What we acquire? Vairagyam and Jnanam, both from the Lord. So Bhagavatam also tells about it. Yeah. In this context, I just want to explain this topic of, as renunciation and detachment we discussed. So, and we discussed the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Raghunath Goswami past time in Puri. So, where discussed about Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells very nice points there. So, I'll just quickly open it. 6219. I think I opened somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, here we all know how Raghunath Goswami, by the mercy of the Lord, he was at home and he wants to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. He tried multiple times. So by the mercy of Lord, finally, Raghunath Goswami preached the Lord in Puri, and then he was kept under the care of Swarup Damodar Goswami. That's why he's also called as Swarupera Raghu. So because there is one more Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, so Swarupera Raghu he's called. He's under the care of Swarup Damodar Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami is our Prayojan Acharya. So we have Sambandha, Abhidaya and Prayojan. So Prayojan Acharya is Raghunath Das Goswami. So, and Raghunath Das Goswami, we know how he's famous for renunciation. So here, how it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that it is a custom for some Vaishnavas to beg from charity booths and eat whatever they obtain, whereas others stand at night at the Simhadwara gate begging alms from the servants. So this verse tells how Vaishnavas are begging there at the Simhadwara gate. So here comes where Raghunath Goswami actually starts begging at the Simhadwara gate, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the favorite verse is mentioned about how the Gaita Vaishnavas feel this verse is very important, where Mahaprabhuvira Bhakta Ganera Vairagya Pradana Yahade ki Pritihana Gaura Bhagavana. It's mentioned the renunciation is the basic principle sustaining the lives of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees. Seeing this renunciation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Supreme Personality of Godhead, is extremely satisfied. So in this verse, the purport explained, anyone, whether an ordinary materialistic person or a pure devotee, can understand the behavior of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees. If he studies it minutely, one will thus find that the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are not at all attached to any kind of material enjoyment. They have completely given up sense enjoyment to engage fully in the service of Lord Sri Krishna and dedicate their lives and souls to serving Krishna without material desires, because their devotional service is free from material desires. It is unimpeded by material circumstances. Although ordinary men have great difficulty understanding this attitude of the devotees, it is greatly appreciated by Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you can see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciates the behavior of Raghunath Das Goswami. We all know Raghunath Das Goswami is one of the great richest person, is the son of a great rich landlord. So he is now came to Puri, and we can see how he is begging alms and taking alms at Simhadwara gate, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows about it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt very happy. So I think next verses explains about how Govinda said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Das Goswami no longer takes prasadam here. Now he stands at Simhadwara and where he begs some alms to eat. Then this is the next verse. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he was greatly satisfied. So Raghunath Das has done well. He said he had acted suitably for a person in the renounced order. So for renounced order, he has acted suitably. And further explains, a person in the renounced order should always chant the holy name of the Lord, should beg some alms to eat, and should sustain his life in this way. So that's how the instruction given to renounced order of life. They should chant the holy name, beg alms, and should live the life like that. But for householders, Prabhupada mentions that a well-to-do householder Vaishnava cannot live like a person in the renounced order life who completely takes shelter of the holy name. So he's saying you cannot live like them, but you should take complete shelter of holy name. Such a householder should chant the holy name of Krishna in the morning and at midday and in the evening. So then he will be able to cross beyond nescience. So complete shelter of holy name. The pure devotees in this order, however, who fully surrendered to lotus feet of Krishna, should chant the holy name of the Lord with great love and faith, always thinking of Krishna's lotus feet. So for both of them, Prabhupada mentioned here that what we're supposed to do is taking shelter of the holy name is very important. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare will definitely help us to cross beyond the nescience. So what Prabhupada explaining. So yeah, so these verses, one point which that Raghunath Das Goswami, you can see how these devotees here, they have given up complete sense enjoyment and engaged fully in the service of Lord Krishna and dedicate their lives and souls to serving Krishna without material desires, because their devotional service is free from material desires. It is unimpeded by material circumstances. So unimpeded by material circumstances is one thing which we can understand in depth. Like how, I mentioned about it, this point. There will be so many impediments coming during our devotional service, like maybe health problems because of our own past mistakes or something. But we should continue our devotional service without any break. So we try to do our best, at least whatever we can do, so that at any point of time, like we should not say, I did a lot, why this happened to me? So what is this? Why it's happening to me? So we should never complain like that. Understand this, how Lord is so merciful that although we're supposed to get a very big painful activity, but given only little, like as explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, Tatyene kampum susukshamano, bunjana evatma, kritam vipakam. So Lord is very merciful, very causeless, that He might have given a very big thing, but it's a little thing. So, but with full heart, words and body, we should actually worship the Lord. So that's what mentioned here. When you do it, then it's a rightful claim. So Daya Bhak, rightful claim for liberation is mentioned in this verse. And one more point is that practicing, as I mentioned, practicing renunciation doesn't mean that we practice so many austerities that Lord will be pleased. We all know the example of the brahmachari in Navadip, where he also want to see the Lord's Nimai's Kirtan in the Srivas Thakur's home. So there, how this brahmachari requested again and again Srivas Thakur that I want to come and participate. I want to be there as a part of the Kirtan. Then what about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Every day he does Kirtan there. And Srivas Thakur, as he was seeing this brahmachari, was living only on milk and fruits, nothing much. And he was celibate. So he thought, okay, he's a good person, I can allow him to see. So Srivas Thakur allowed him inside the home, hidden somewhere. And he can see from there Lord is dancing with other devotees. And as usual, that all devotees assembled and Mahaprabhu is dancing. And all the devotees are also dancing. He was seeing it. Suddenly, Mahaprabhu knows everything. He stopped and he asked, something is happening. I'm not getting the ecstasy. Then he asked, someone is there here. So then Srivas Thakur tells, no, there are no non-believers. There are no atheists. There is no one here. So there is only one person who is there, but he's very good. He's a brahmachari. He's celibate. He drinks only milk. So then he calls out, send that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells that, kick him out of this room immediately. So just by drinking milk, do you think he can be participant of Nam Sankirtan? No, he will not be. So he explains that until unless one takes full shelter of me, full shelter of Supreme Personality Godhead, they are not allowed to be in this Kirtan. So then he was taken out. He was repenting for what he has done, but he was happy that he could see Lord performing the Nam Sankirtan. He was very happy about it. And he also very grateful for what happening, and he accepted what Lord has done. And with that humble heart he was living. So Lord was very much pleased and called back. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, because he is Sarvasya Chavam Vidhi Sannivishto. He understands what is there going on. And he calls back and he actually gives blessing, put his lotus feet on his head and gives blessing and it gives mercy to him, the brahmachari. So yeah, we can understand that not just by doing all austerities that we can achieve. So austerities means pleasing the Lord, as I mentioned earlier. So our senses should engage in pleasing the Lord's service, Lord's senses. So the austerities we do should please the Lord that in that way. So we should not be proud of our austerities as well. So that's the important thing. So we should engage in Lord's devotional service. So that's the point we just want to add here. I think, yeah, we are now, we'll go to the next verse. Till here is what points about the verse we discussed about Purujati leaving the sons. And also many instances in Srimad Bhagavatam that like this, many themselves come from heavenly planets as order of Brahma and Indra. Like we discussed now in the purport how Menaka had come to disturb Vishwamitra Muni. Similarly, in the previous, we discussed about how Prachitas married to, I think, married to Maricha. And she was also sent, right? Sent by and disturb one more sage like that. And she, what happens is they beget and they go back to the previous place, the places where they come from. Like that, many instances are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So from their context, we understand how detachment, and from there we discussed all these points. So importance of detachment in our life and practicing, we experience higher thing. So, and how important is in our cultivation parampara, Mahaprabhu himself explained, and how should be our mood as a humble service attitude mood for this, in this approaching the Lord. Yeah, then we'll have sometime we'll just go to the last verse and we'll explain the points there. Yeah, this is the Agnidra Sutaste Matur Anugrahad Outpatike Naiva Samhanana Balopeta Pitra Vibhakta Atma Tulya Namani Yata Bhagam Jambudvipa Varshani Bujuhu. I'll just go to translation and purport by Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Because of drinking the breast milk of their mother, the 9 sons of Agnidra naturally had strong, well-built bodies. their father gave them each a kingdom in different part of Jambudvipa. The kingdoms were named according to the names of the sons. Thus, the sons of Agnidra ruled the kingdoms they received from their father. So basically, this verse, purport Prabhu explains, that's the one word he explains here. We'll read. The Acharyas specifically mention that in this verse, the words Matuhu Anugrahat, by the mercy of their mother, refer to the breast milk of their mother. In India, it is a common belief that if a baby is fed his mother's milk for at least 6 months, his body will be very strong. Besides that, it is mentioned herein that the sons of Agnidra were endowed with the nature of their mother. Bhagavatha 1.40 also declares, Stisudishtashu Varsneya Jayate Varnashankaraha. When women are polluted, Varnashankara, unqualified children are generated. And when the Varnashankara population increases, the entire world becomes hellish. Therefore, according to Manu Samhita, a woman needs a great deal of protection in order to remain pure and chaste, so that her children can be fully engaged for the benefit of human society. So, 9 sons of Agnidra were well built and strong because they had taken the breast milk of their mother, Purvachitti. So, purport also, Acharyas referring that word, Matu Anugrahat means, especially they're referring the breast milk of their mother. So, even I have experienced that doctors always tell that we should feed breast milk for the children. There is a powder which they give immediately, but I think they also tell that this is only for emergency. You should always feed mother's milk. But there will be some difficulty. Even there also see mother, for the higher cost of children, they should actually experience that pain to give the children the milk. It will be pain initially, but they have to give it because that's helpful for the children for further grow up. So that's important. So Acharya has mentioned about that point. So very important, mothers love through the milk they get, they'll be strong. And also about the protection of women, which will help us for a happy society is mentioned here. So we'll just a few points I've written. We can just go through it. So one thing is, as I mentioned, that mother's milk is very important for child's nourishment. I remember this analogy I heard long back from one devotee, that how for us also nourishment happens for soul. So for body nourishment, we are already doing many things. For soul nourishment, very important thing is Shravanam and Kirtanam. So as a part of devotional services, as discussed earlier also, what is devotional practice we're supposed to do by taking shelter? That is Shravanam and Kirtanam. Until unless we do Shravanam and Kirtanam intensely, we will not take shelter of the Lord. So the Shravanam and Kirtanam is the nourishment of soul. Small baby cannot sustain without milk. Similarly, soul cannot sustain without Shravanam and Kirtanam. That's like a milk to us. So we should hear attentively and chant attentively. Then only we'll be able to sustain a devotional practice. Otherwise, we'll be pulled down. So Prabhupada tells, and then further I'm going to the next topic as the time constraint. So Prabhupada tells about the protection of women at every stage. Prabhupada nicely explains that at the young age, should be under the care of father, and after getting married, under the care of husband, and after husband passed away, under the care of son. So that's the Prabhupada tells the standard. So it should be like that. And without that, if woman is mixed freely in the society, then there will be definitely Varna Shankara, where children who are begetting from the womb, they will not be right population. There's Varna Shankara people. And for that, what will happen is the degraded society will happen. Society will be having the wars and so many things, as explained. So important point there is, both children are prone to mislead. Women are very similarly prone to degradation. So both need protection by elder members of the family. So good population human society is a basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in the life. So very important that point. Prabhupada stressed again and again. And many letters Prabhupada wrote to many people explaining the importance of protection of women. So yeah, the Varnashram religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. So that's very important. So point. So the population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. So the standard solid example Srimad Bhagavatam about this is how Kardamuni, we know the pastime of Kardamuni in Devahuti. Kardamuni prayed for wife suitable for him in devotional practice. So we all know how Swayambhu Manu was, Swayambhu's daughter is Devahuti. So she was under the care of Swayambhu Manu first. So Devahuti was given in marriage to Kardamuni. So Kardamuni was under the care of Kardamuni further, right? And then Kardamuni, he told once I begot son, I will also leave home, right? As we discussed today, he will also leave home. And she's under the care of son Kapila Dev. So Lord Kapila is taking care of his mother. So there is a verse, like actually nice verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam explains how the one word which Acharya has referred that after husband leaves, the wife should be under the care of under the care of son. So where Mother Devahuti is under the care of Kapil Dev. So it is like you should take care so much that she should not feel that she is missing her husband. The son should take care of that point. So like that, it was so nicely arranged at every stage. We should follow actually. So Kardamuni and Devahuti is a nice salad example. By doing that, chastity and faithfulness is protected, and also see their mother also will get some devotional practices, like how Kapil Muni enlightened mother here, and she could able to practice. In that way, they will be protected. Society will be happy also, and people who begot from their wombs are very nice, powerful citizens, which will help in the prosperity of the society. So with that, I think these three verses I would like to I covered with whatever understanding I had and what I could hear. I just give a summary very quick, maybe 1 minute. So we all discussed about the context, and we understood how Maharaj Agnidra desired to go to Pitraloka, and actually he married to Purochitti, Brahma center, and they lived for 1,000 years. They begot 9 sons, and Purochitti left immediately, and she went back to Brahma's place. And how from there we understood the importance of the detachment, how the for the higher caste they're doing it, and we understood how the renunciation is important in all phases of life. So we are also renouncing many things for a higher purpose, and we know how important it is also. So we understood the verse from Bhakti Parayashana Bhava Bhaktir Viraktir, say how by taking shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead, so Prapadyante, definitely 3 things will happen, like how we are eating our prasadam. So, and also not the detachment means we detach from everything, should also understand the principle of Yukta Vairagyam and engaging in the Lord's service. And we understood the principle of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu telling about how important is the practicing renunciation, both in renounced order life and also householder life. Importance is about mentioned there. We have seen Raghunath Goswami, how Mahaprabhu was very much pleased. So we can do a little bit what we can do. So then how understood about the nourishment of Savaman Kirtana is very important for our sadhana. So how the milk nourishment for child, as we have seen, it makes strong. So we'll make us strong in our devotional practice by hearing. So and then woman protection is very important. We discussed in the last verse how Prabhupada mentioned, and all the acharyas mentioned, that without that there will be Varna Shankara, and it should be at every stage there should be protection. So, and one more point I was just contemplating that I explained earlier also, that how Maharaj Agnidra, son of pure devotee of Lord, he has desire to go to Pitraloka. Correct? No. So how are we? So we are like having so many other desires, but by the mercy of Prabhupada, now we had one desire that go back to spiritual world. So how fortunate we are. So our goal should be 9.25. Explained that Yanti Deva Varta Devan, Pitrun Yanti Pitruvataha, Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja, Yanti Madhyaji Nopimam. So Pitrun Yanti Pitruvataha. Agnidra wants to go to Pitraloka, but we are very fortunate, very grateful to Srila Prabhupada that he mentioned all of his purports that our goal is to go back to spiritual world, and our practice should be like that. And he's very clear about it. So we are very grateful, and what our practices Prabhupada said is really helping. So we should make our goal to go back to spiritual world. So yeah, thanks to Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees helping us in the devotional practice. With it, I'd like to end here. Sorry for taking some more time. So Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. I want to stop here.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the nectarian class. The way you covered very nicely about the self-realization and all these things. At different stages you are given, like self-realization and then enjoying and realizing later. And also, like, if not realized, there will be some instructions that will come and for self-realization, I mean, to get the self-realization. And very nicely you have mentioned about you have summarized very nicely also, but last point, those who worship me will live with me. So, and how how grateful we should be to our Guru and Srila Prabhupada, and also to our devotee association. It was very nice, Prabhuji. You summarized very nicely. And also, devotee slides are already unmuted, so devotees can unmute and ask any questions or clarifications. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna devotees, any questions?
Hare Krishna, Smitha, Keshava, Prabhu. And Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you very much for very nice class, especially the way you described the three aspects that are described in Bhagavatam, how people actually detach and engage in devotional service. I think you also quoted examples of how people who are in the enjoyment, material enjoyment or sense pleasure, how what type of realization they get later. I think that was a very nice analogy you given, and also you explained from the various pastimes. That was a nice one, Prabhuji, and also explained. I think the important point is many of the stories set in Bhagavatam is at a very ideal state when few devotees like Priyavrata Maharaj uh, uh, was having sense gratification mood despite his pure state and getting instruction from Narada Muni, Brahma, Lord Vishnu himself. But if those people are having such a pure devotees are having such a thoughts, and what is the question of practicing devotees like us? That was the question I had, but also you clarified that later by quoting Srila Rupa Goswami. What is the hope we have? Just be engaged in sadhana practice, and there is a hope.
Yes, bro. Yeah, that what just little bit taste we get. I think that we can contemplate again and again, and we want to practice that more in depth. So we can proceed in that direction.
You also mentioned, I think, detachment, taste. Detachment happens naturally without much endeavor. The taste actually gradually develops. I think these are some of the points. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you.
Just repeated.
Your class, I always relish your class. Very nice.
Just repeated, Prabhu. What I heard from other devotees. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Smitha Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the wonderful nectar. The nourishment part which you told, the child nourishes on the milk and the devotees nourishes on Shravanam and Kirtanam. So that's very wonderful analogy. So we nourished your class by having Shravanam. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. I want to thank Sankarshan Prabhu for giving opportunity, because I also want nourishment. After Yatra and other things, I could not read much. So Prabhuji, we gave the service so that I could read and hear. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. I got nourished.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you. A wonderful class. I think it was already covered. In fact, I also felt about this particular about nourishment for the child was something very nice. Actually, when we reach Srimad Bhagavatam, I mean, though it has several stories, it becomes sometimes too, whether it's practical. I think Prabhupada made it so easy for us in our daily routine itself to actually build all these small things. Actually, it can become very easy, but yeah, it is difficult. It is tough. Prabhu, only thing which I, sometimes when I read these sort of things of, like where the Apsara, she comes, she has children and then leaves them and goes. How do you think we should understand it in the current context? People can take in different ways. So how do we give an explanation for these things, or how even we understand it? When you say higher cost, but you can't, I mean, it's also important to say we can't abandon or leave at midway and something like that.
Yeah, Prabhuji. I think what I understand from this is, as you mentioned in Bhagavatam, multiple places this has been done, where the Apsaras come and give birth and they can leave. And also in previous Pachita's pastime, also you have seen how it was given to the care of trees. Trees were taking care of it. And when children needs nourishment, the Lord is the ultimate supplier. So through the moon god is the god of trees, and he put the finger inside the mouth of the baby. She got nourished. So like some are like as you mentioned, we cannot live like that. Even there's a pastime of Siddhara Swami, one of our Acharya, famous Acharya. There we also understood he was also in dilemma whether to leave the children and go for further self-realization. So we all know that pastime, famous pastime, how that lizard, baby lizard just fell down from the womb of mother, immediately catches the insect and eat. Who taught how to eat insect? Similarly, Lord is ultimate controller. So that's very, very high level. So we cannot live like that. So we know how the pastime further, the children he left, but some other couple had taken the children and taken care. But I think our level of practice, like we cannot be like that. So as what I could hear is, we should we should do, I mean, our role is important in taking care of the family and children, so that no one else can play that role, actually. So as a practical level, we see, so we should play the role what we're supposed to play, and we should do our best there, taking shelter of the holy names of Lord, taking shelter of the Lord. We should do our best. Something goes out of the hand, we cannot do much, because Lord is ultimate controller. So we should not neglectly leave everything. So this all should be under the guidance. We practice this devotional life. So we take instruction from the seniors and we follow it. So as I mentioned, I think gradually what we do by seeing other seniors, how they are intensely engaging in devotional practices. So how they're taking care of family, how they're taking care of the devotional life. And at a certain point of time, after few years, they also more intensely they do it. So like example of Anand Vrindavan Prabhu, how they are doing it, chanting many rounds. So doing this, how they also you can see like those examples, like we can understand like how can also we do it. But we cannot be that responsible because we are not that level of them. So what I understand, so we should actually do our best, and we should not be too much attached, but we should actually do our best and leave the rest to God, is what I understand, Rosie. Maybe other devotees can add. They have more understand what I just understood. Maybe senior devotees can add. Pastor Prabhu or other devotees.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Correction, Rosie, due to time constraint, we